A pigeon shit on my shoes, a pigeon shit on my Bugatti suitcase. Pigeon shit has become a bit of a fascinating topic to me. Yeah, it took me 3 months to make this poster, and I am designing a poster out of pigeon shit today. Yeah, can you tell I got a lot of time on my hands? My name is Josiane, I'm a graphic designer, and in 2026, I am making 26 design projects related to sustainability. And I have been really interested in the pigeons that live in the city. I live in London where we are overwhelmed with pigeons sometimes, and they are definitely a part of daily life, but these urban ecosystems that exist inside of the city are something that is really easy for us to ignore. As humans, we don't view the world kind of beneath our feet and below us, and they are really intertwined with us and they are really intrinsically connected with us. So I thought for today on this topic, I would speak about Trafalgar Square specifically because it was known as one of the pigeon capital squares of the world, which I had no idea about until I started researching pigeons and I learned about Trafalgar Square because when you go today, there's just a regular amount of pigeons. There's not a substantial amount of pigeons, but it was known as a place with a crazy amount of fucking pigeons. And any photo you look at that's an archival image of Trafalgar Square, people will be engulfed in pigeons. It's kind of disgusting actually, which is an interesting response to have. We paint a lot of negativity on pigeons because they're disease carriers, but they actually, in all honesty, have not caused that many deaths from their diseases. Pigeons arrived in Trafalgar Square before it was even completed construction in 1844. The first pigeon flocks came before that, and since then they were iconically known to be part of the square. And pigeons lived there until about 2000 when the City of London cracked down extensively on the pigeons. And it was really iconic for people to buy pigeon feed from pigeon vendors in Trafalgar Square. And then all of their licenses were basically revoked and their right to have a business there was taken away in 2000. And the City of London wanted to get rid of these pigeons bad. They wanted to get rid of these pigeons in a major way. They had hawks. They were hiring hawk handlers, I guess, and actually and letting hawks out in Trafalgar Square to just get rid of the pigeons and to kill them. And there was actually a really big movement against that to help save the Trafalgar Square pigeons. But unfortunately, the food went away and the pigeons went away, and who knows what happened to those pigeons. But the reason for all of this was basically that the pigeon droppings were damaging the statues and the surrounding infrastructure, which is what they're known to do, especially in London, because there's a lot of statues and historical monuments. And it was, of course, really expensive to replace these and to maintain them because of the pigeons. So yeah, the City of London said, we are getting rid of the pigeons. So they were kicked out, harassed by the hawks, starved, and all of this because they inconvenienced us and they cost humans money. But cities like London are very familiar and comfortable for pigeons because the architecture is very similar to the rocky cliffs that they would live in and they would have their nests in. This topic is meant to be a bit of a metaphor for our relationship with nature because we, on one hand, love the pigeons, we feed them. People were, buying pigeon feed, giving it away to the pigeons in Trafalgar Square, posing for photos covered in pigeons. We form relationships with pigeons. They are biologically identical to white doves, which we have a lot of symbolic reverence towards. And these pigeons in Trafalgar Square were familiar with it. They remember places and they would always come back to it because that's a place that they were fed. It was a location in the city that was made to be very hospitable to them by humans. And then they were basically banned. So yes, the pigeons do cause damage, but it's not like they know that they are causing damage. They are trying their best, guys. They're pigeons. I'll explain a bit about how I designed this poster. So first of all, I documented a ton of photos of pigeon droppings. I wanted to have these kind of blurred edges to all of the droppings so that I could Photoshop them together and have them overlap and almost be you don't know where one ends and one begins. And originally I actually did use selection tools and just had, the selection tool do it. But I ultimately found that the eraser tool was better for this and getting that blurred effect with a lot of control that I wanted. So I'm just outlining all of these and they're all quite different. And it's hard because they're droppings, right? So they splatter all over. But I actually feel really good about how the collage turned out. Just able to piece everything together and it looks really kind of cohesive and it blended together really well. I'm just gonna say it. I know this is really gross, but it kind of looks like ice cream to me. Next, I decided I was gonna take this into Blender, which, girl, you're doing too much. Every single time I'm like, yeah, guys, I'm just gonna go into Blender now. I'm like, yeah, Josie, we're doing too much. But also not enough. So I just found a random website online that generated a PBR texture from my image that I made. And so I imported that PBR onto a plane, of course. And yeah, I was able to get like a texture going on this plane of the pigeon shit. And I wanted it to have a bit of shine to it. And I just thought that when I did this, it would unify everything even further and just make it feel really connected because it had that textural element. And then it also gave me the chance to play around a little bit with lighting and getting that kind of the way that I wanted it to be. So yeah, I could experiment a bit more and make it a bit more dramatic, which in the end, it's honestly not that dramatic, but I had a few like interesting renderings. And I thought it was just cool to give it maybe a little bit of metallic or a little bit of shine and just experiment with that. Now, one thing I found to be so funny in my research was the Wikipedia page for pigeons and their endangerment status, which I guess every animal has. Which is just obviously like least concern. And I was like, why is that? That's just like so funny. So I was like, you know what? This is kind of a cool thing to put on the poster. I'm going to do a little kind of emblem or maybe a badge, just like a metallic badge. You know, I love adding a metallic to something. So the first thing that I did for this was I turned this into an SVG. So I just brought that into Illustrator. Luckily for me, this could be saved from Wikipedia as an SVG file. So I literally just saved it as an SVG, dropped that into Illustrator, which is great. And then I know it looks so like messy and like rough the way I'm doing this with, you know, the outlines being messed up and everything, but this just gave me a chance to kind of trace the shapes a little bit and, you know, make it the way that I wanted it to be, because I was gonna have the back plate basically, and then the text that would sit on top of it, which you'll see. I go in and I kind of bevel the metallic back plate a bit. But yeah, I was just separating out those two SVGs that I would then import into Blender. So that's what I did. I imported both as SVG files, one which is the completely flat, you know, background that will be the back plate, and then the second SVG being the text, and then joined all of the pieces of them separately and extruded them out to the width that I wanted it to be. I was just eyeballing all of this, to be honest, giving it some auto smooth, and then also going in and beveling the metallic backplate so that it would have, you know, some texture to it and a bit of dimension. And one thing that you don't see in this video actually is I had a lot of trouble getting that same kind of texture and dimension with the text. It was really hard for me to bevel those letters. So I actually ended up remeshing those and subdividing it. So if you look really, really closely at the poster, you can see there's a bit of pixelization from that remeshing that I did. But I thought it looked a lot better in the end, just giving it a little bit of softness rather than having the really sharp edges of the regular text. And I just threw on an aluminum PBR texture that I already had, and that just had a really nice shine to it. And I just staged it out really simply. To be honest, this design was pretty clear in my head. I knew that I wanted that to just be like sat on the bottom of the page, and just, you know, gave it a quick little lighting setup, and that was my poster. I just rendered that out. It seems fairly simple when I explain it, and, you know, obviously this footage is quite cut down, but I had a lot of back and forth with myself about how I was going to execute this in Blender and, you know, the lighting and the editing. I did take this into Photoshop to adjust the lighting in post, which you'll see everything looks a little bit different in the end, but everything came together really well and I'm really happy with it. So I'll show you the final design now. I hope you enjoyed watching, but I'll see you next time.